Draymond Green is the personification of the rich, pampered athlete. He's also one of the main characters of the player empowerment/entitlement era. And not to mention maybe the luckiest player of all time. Draymond was a second-round pick out of Michigan State in 2012, and I've asked this question several times. After 1975 and up until about the point he was drafted, who would have drafted him? He can't run, he can't jump, he has virtually no offensive game, and he's much too short to have played in almost every other era. On many occasions, he's been compared to Dennis Rodman. This is a ridiculous comparison. Rodman had a superpower, which was his rebounding, and he was every bit the defensive player that Draymond allegedly is. And Rodman was playing in the age of giants, and he had to guard centers on multiple occasions that were over 7 feet tall, and he more than held his own. Draymond famously had an argument with Kevin McHale about who would win between the '86 Celtics and the 2017 Warriors. McHale asked Draymond who would guard him. Draymond said, "Well, me," and McHale laughed in his face. But I ask you, how would Draymond have possibly guarded Kevin McHale? He was a power forward with one of the longest reaches of all time. It would just be, in every other word, inconceivable. And he, like many players of his era, are way overpaid and have no accountability for their behavior whatsoever. For all the gifts that have been handed to him, he's not humble. He acts as if he's a dude in this league. But I ask you this if you don't believe me. Did Draymond make Steph? Or did Steph make Draymond? Did Draymond make Clay? Or did Clay make Draymond? Green kind of reminds me of Commodus from Gladiator.
This guy sucks.
Draymond does the noble thing of setting picks and throwing bounce passes and playing solid defense. But I ask you this, if that was Paul George's only job, wouldn't he be good at it? And wouldn't he hit jumpers at a higher clip? What if you replaced Draymond with Larry Nance Jr.? Wouldn't you have the same results? I think so. And if you want another lesson in accountability or lack thereof, look no further than Zion Williamson, one of the most blessed athletes of all time who simply doesn't seem to care. And in what job can you not show up, not do a good job, and not be prepared and get a massive pay raise before you've even proved anything? And all that does, if you know anything about basic psychology, is enable bad behavior. Statistically, Zion is one of the biggest, strongest men on the face of the earth. But before a playoff game, he just didn't feel like Zion, so he didn't play. What a lesson to the kids. New Orleans to this point has done everything out of fear. They gave him a massive $200 million extension out of fear. They've kept him on the team so they didn't lose him for pennies on the dollar, and then he became a star somewhere else, which probably will happen, but he hasn't shown that kind of resilience anyway. It's really as simple as you get drafted number one, you make $40 million a year, and you can't be bothered to show up in shape or support your teammates? Well, that's inexcusable. How does New Orleans and the NBA sell that to their fans? Come watch the Pelicans and see what Zion's wearing tonight. There were rumors at one point that he would be traded to the Knicks. I don't know if those are true or not, but I hope so because that would just be a laugh a minute. Basketball does not define Zion, nor does it anyone else, but this is not a great chapter. And then we have James Harden, the curious case of a legend of the player empowerment era.
This guy sucks.
The next time he comes through in a big moment will be the first time as far as I'm concerned. This guy comes up small in almost every big situation he's ever been in. His three-point shot that's clearly a travel has taken the NBA by storm, and kids everywhere are trying it on every court in America. That's if kids actually went to courts anymore. Unlike his name, Harden is what they call soft as cookie dough. His agents belong in the Hall of Fame as they continuously get him paid ungodly amounts of money each year just to lose and make them look bad. And speaking of ridiculousness, this is Kyrie Irving burning sage at the Boston Garden to remove the evil spirits that he was the cause of. Kyrie is the textbook definition of a front runner, and when the going gets tough, Kyrie folds. He folds like the chair you find in the basement of a church. He folds like parchment paper when you put bacon on top of it. And if Kyrie is Anakin, then LeBron is his Obi-Wan. LeBron, the leader of the Lakers, in his latest sickening comments about you're only as good as your teammates just shows again how there is such a lack of accountability in this era, and it's really hard to watch. LeBron has clearly read no books about leadership, and if he has, he's still on the first page anyway. He blames referees, he gets players traded and released, he gets coaches fired. LeBron has never once, to my knowledge, said, you know what, my bad. And if you question any of this, or if you question if he's the GOAT or not, then it's your problem. Did Magic Johnson ever have to address anything like this?
Any team that I've played on in my 20 years where we've been a flopping team.
This is your GOAT, allegedly, but he's not the GOAT of accountability, that's for sure. And after recently getting bounced from the first round of the playoffs, LeBron doesn't care. He's fine with other people winning it. Go win a title, Ant-Man. Why not? Wow. And in other news, Bronny James, the son of a billionaire, gets special treatment. Next. LeBron is simply accumulating stats at this point. Any other player that was treading water like this and making too much money would have been shipped out of town years ago. It's actually hilarious to me that they thought the pairing of Luka and LeBron would win a title. It's not even as good as the team that Luka had with the Mavericks last year. LeBron is a fourth or fifth option at this point. He just has a higher usage rate. And Luka is not above criticism either. I, including everyone else, trashed this trade between the Mavericks and the Lakers. Nico Harrison has been rightly criticized, and he didn't get enough in return. But in the deepest reaches of your soul, just ask yourself, is he really wrong? Yes, Luka helped lead them to the finals, but he was in bad shape, and he did break down as the series went on. They gave him a massive extension like they did Zion, and he showed up in bad shape too. His face looks like mine after an 11th-month hiatus of not playing men's rec league basketball. Why are players like Magic Johnson, Allen Iverson, and Earl the Pearl Monroe still revered to this day? Because their games were fun, and they had bags, and they could do different things, and you never knew what you were going to see next. But those were plumbers, and this is the new era with better players. But all they do is shoot threes. They'll miss 30, 40, and 50 threes in a game. Earl the Pearl had a spin move, a turnaround, a mid-range game. He could drive, he could dish, he could do it all. But now we get to watch guys shoot threes all night long. How lucky we are. This is the softest era of basketball with the softest GOAT candidate we've ever seen. Why do you need load management in any way when this is what you're doing? You're running from three-point line to three-point line and jacking it, and then nobody crashes the boards. Oh, and you thought Jokic was going to make it out of this scot-free? You're wrong. My favorite player in the league right now is SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The best player in the league is Nikola Jokic, and he has been for several years, and he should have multiple MVPs in a row, but he doesn't. But here's the thing. As Draymond before him, how would he have fared in the 90s? He's still a great player. He'd always be a great player. But he'd have more resistance if he was playing against Olajuwon, Robinson, Shaq, all of these guys. How about Ewing, Mourning, Mutombo, Sabonis? How about facing McHale and Parrish, or Worthy and Kareem? And I haven't even mentioned the plethora of muscle-bound power forward enforcers that reigned supreme in the league during this time. Jokic may be the best statistical player since Wilt Chamberlain, but he really has a lack of resistance most nights. There's simply no one that could guard him. Nobody's skilled enough or tall enough. He routinely dismantles Joel Embiid because Joel Embiid isn't any good. Maybe Wemby can save us from all of this madness.